It was basically like someone was using a toothbrush inside my pee hole with sandpaper on it.
Glad you saved that for the camera. Passing stones like Bernie Sanders. Doesn't even make, without context, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Well,
we should do an outtakes episode one of these days
where
we review
any though. Like literally, minus maybe a couple, like 30 seconds before a show, just like a setup, or it's like, oh, I got to turn something on. There are no outtakes. Like it literally is start and go right to the end.
Straight raw.
That's why I
no condom.
Pretty much. I see people write all the time in different podcast forums about what's the normal time to edit this and that, and like how long is I hate doing this and it takes hours to edit. And I sort of smile. I'm like, and I know what they're editing, because a lot of times when you do a solo cast, there's periods of silence, so you just cut that up.
Yeah.
And if you really don't know, like if you don't know what you're talking about beforehand, you're gonna have a 40-minute clip, and you're gonna get like 14 minutes out of it, because there's so many either searching something or just looking for the words to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like doing podcasts with other people, because in the time you're quiet thinking about what to say, somebody else is filling the dead space, the dead air.
Oh, I was going to say, we agreed not to talk about filling dead space. Remember?
Hey, you know. So, yeah, there is really no editing time at all. Maybe that's a detriment. I don't know. I don't think so.
He's back.
I like...
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm really not back.
I like...
I do have a soda, though.
I like organic
First
conversation.
One of 40. Organic?
Mm.
Yeah, you're one of those vegan shoppers, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yo!
I'm a vegan spitter. Now,
did you hear about the girl who... there's the vegan teacher, right? You heard about her?
No.
Why the fuck aren't you vegan yet? That chick?
I think that was on...
Yes, it was YouTube.
Shorts or TikTok
whatever,
or something?
Vines. It was on Vines way back.
All right.
Back before TikTok, there was
that's
Vines.
an old one. All right.
Yes. Well, she's making headway, whatever. She's got influencing, whatever, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, we're not on there. According to the light, we're not on there. Anyway. Vegan Vines.
I can't tell. Oh, okay.
I wish it blinked. But anyway.
I need that. Us, sheeple. We need something to guide
That's right. Applause, please.
We should get...
I press a button. It says applause.
No. That's got to be the one button I get. That's got to be the one... Oh,
somebody talking at home, and they're like... Or watching at home, and the thing goes off. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I have to do this, apparently.
Yeah, I want a switchboard over here. I want my own little control board. You got that. I should get like a sound... Oh, let's get a soundboard.
I'd have to. I could do it if you got a separate soundboard with an 1/8 inch or any jack. There's plenty of empty outlets right there. I can just plug it in, adjust the volume sometime off air. So then every time you that'd be too much like a fucking radio show.
Oh, anyway. Come on, it'll be great. Some of this shit.
I don't want to turn into like
I'm in
Anthony.
Come on, that'd be great, dude. You're already thinking about the possibilities. Let's go, Brandon.
Oh my god. Anyway, so I don't even remember what you were talking about.
So yeah, so the vegan teacher.
Oh, all right, yeah.
The vegan teacher. She there's this one chick on TikTok. She's definitely funny. I've been watching her for a while.
I bent my Wookiee.
No, she's the one that's got the daughters. Well, it's weird. I'll have to show you the videos. It's cool. It's funny.
Okay.
Well, she's like, so I think I just caught the vegan teacher on something. She goes on and research it. Did you know that the markers, the Crayola, the crayons, 90% of Crayola's products has animal byproduct in them?
Probably fat or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she sits there promoting them because Crayolas are vegan, and she's the vegan teacher. And here she is smearing dead poor sacrifice.
And vegan is like the strict no animal anything.
Yep.
Like not vegetarian. That's vegan.
So vegan teacher.
I was saying before we turn the camera on, we get the opportunity to announce something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, breaking news thing. Yeah. No, breaking news thing that just hit my phone about 20 minutes before you got here. Betty White passed.
No!
99. Betty White passed. Now watch this be one of those things that comes out. Remember, there's been like 2 or 3 internet rumors that's gone around.
Jackie Chan's died like 10 times.
Yeah, but
Gabriel Iglesias died like 2 or 3 times.
that came across my ground news.
Oh.
So yeah, she passed. It was about 40 minutes, about probably a little over an hour ago now. But yeah, so here's the Betty White.
Hold on. I'm glad I brought the soda down. Honest to God.
Moment of silence. Betty White. I haven't done that in a while. That's like the old podcast.
I know. What? Wait, what?
I started actually clipping stuff from old shows, just classics. I was like, I'll throw in these every now and again.
Do like a compilation video.
Not a compilation, just like it'll be like short 30-second things from the old show, like I put on TikTok. And
Yeah.
There we go. Just,
No, but we should though. We should actually do that. That's what I meant. Instead of outtakes, we should do that one of these days. Put out an episode where it's the stupidest things we've said. We'll just take turns sitting through watching fucking all of our episodes.
There will
Cut,
be that'll be
go.
the makeup of all the editing that I don't do.
Yeah.
'Cause that'll take a week to go through everything.
All of our episodes.
This
Jesus.
is this is New Year's Eve.
Yes.
At the point we're recording this, so it won't be up until tomorrow, New Year's Day.
So happy New Year's. So
Yeah,
speaking of, what do you mean? We recorded a show yesterday. Today's New Year's Day, bud.
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Happy New Year's.
Happy
today.
New Year's, brother.
Yesterday. Wait, no,
2027.
tomorrow. Today. Tomorrow. Today.
2027.
2025. 11. 11-8, but minus 5. Wait, that's 20. Whatever.
Space shuttle.
So.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So there's something that's been making its round. Well, first the CDC scraps their PCR test.
Yep.
You saw that?
I did see that.
As of today.
Because it can't differentiate that from the flu.
Yeah. Which a lot of people are saying.
Oh.
Right from the get-go of like a lot of these tests. The big thing is the flu, the first year of the pandemic.
Really quick, don't let me forget, because I got to say something or I will forget.
All right.
COVID-labeled deaths. Go ahead.
Okay. The flu miraculously disappeared. Now, not by CDC numbers, but there was no coverage, no pushing of vaccines that I saw.
No pushing
anyway.
on the
Doesn't mean
flu
there
shot.
wasn't, but yeah, nothing when COVID first hit. It was all COVID. And a lot of people are saying, kind of like facetiously, well, the flu disappeared as soon as COVID came. So that's been like, bouncing around on social media and stuff, and especially right-wing people and
gotta remember
true
this.
anti-vaxxers and whatever, and people that were like, COVID's fake and this. So that was making its rounds. Now, almost 2 years later, it comes out, the CDC, it almost seems like the CDC is throwing its hands up because there's like, well, they dropped the time you have to be quarantined to 5 days,
Yep.
except essential workers, first responders and whatnot. If they're positive, they can still go back to work as long as they're asymptomatic or something to that effect.
Yep.
Which doesn't, I understand there's a shortage in, essential workers, but now you're putting people who are COVID positive right in, amongst patients who may or may not be at
Just
the
because you're
hospital
asymptomatic doesn't mean you still can't transmit.
Well, according to Peter McCullen, you can't. Like if I have COVID
Kevin
and
McAllister?
yes, and I
I like Copeland. That's why I thought of it. Sorry.
am not sneezing or anything like that.
I really do have ADD.
If I'm not doing anything like sneezing or anything, coughing, there's no material going out into the air for
So you don't
to
breathe.
catch. Yeah. So according to him and a few other scientists, or I don't know how many scientists, but if you're asymptomatic, there is no spreading COVID.
You would be great in all those hot tub scenes if you could go without breathing.
That's way later in the episode. You'll get it when I get there. You'll get it when I get there.
No, Daddy. We need the soundboard. No, Daddy, no.
Oh, God.
Sold.
So,
I'm
going way back. I'm in danger. We're never going to fucking get through this episode.
God, go way back. Sorry.
So, going way back. Yeah, it seems like the CDC has just thrown up their hands. They're like, so there's certain strict rules here. If you have COVID and you're not an essential worker, you're quarantined for 5 days. But school children and whatnot still are quarantined for 10 days.
Yep.
Or they stay out of school for 10 days. So there's a discrepancy there. Essential workers, even if they're positive can, for some cases anyway, still go back to work. It almost like they're just giving. There's some countries that are just getting rid of testing altogether. It's like this is pointless. Oh, and contact tracers, which are the people that get a hold of people who have come in contact with someone who tested positive. People that have tested positive are when they are gotten a hold of by contact tracers or New York State. They're contact investigators who contact the people who are tested positive. Yeah. But there's places that are just getting rid of tracers. It's like, this is pointless because there's one person that infect 15, and those 15 infect 2, 4, 8, 20, 15. 1. Yeah, more, and it just branches. It's like, it's a never-ending thing. It's like, this is fucking just like, it's take forever. So they're just getting rid of them. Or there's countries that have already gotten rid of them, and they're assuming New York that they're just going to get rid of contact tracers.
Australian government. God, sorry.
The CDC, going way back anyway, the CDC is just getting rid of testing, the PCR test, because they're like, well, that's what I was talking about. 2 years ago when this came out, a lot of people were like, so the flu disappears and COVID comes, what happened to all the flu cases? Like, what about some of these flu cases could be COVID? And that was conspiracy theory back then, or at least just speculation, putting it softly. And now we're almost 2 years, we're 3 months out of 2 years into this, or less than 3 months. And now the CDC's like, well, some of these might have actually been flu. So that number might have gone down 10%. It might go down 50, 60, 70% of cases that were COVID, but might actually be flu, which would make sense. Like when I said, when I was talking about when I got maybe COVID, I had the exact same symptoms in July.
Fluvid.
Yeah.
Fluvid.
I had the exact same symptoms in July. So I had it.
Do you suffer?
I had flu in July and flu in November, or I had COVID in July and flu in November, or I had the flu in July and COVID in November.
Or you had COVID both times.
Or maybe I'm one of the ones that doesn't, who the fuck knows? Like, nobody fucking knows.
Do you
now.
suffer from menstrual cramps and coughing with
Seriously.
fever? You may have the fluvid. Wait, what?
Flovid.
Flovid.
Anyway,
so
you were the deaths thing. COVID deaths.
I believe it was the Chicago governor or whatever.
Lori Lightfoot.
Illinois. I believe so. The black woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Beetlejuice.
So she fucking really lit some fucking grab your torch and pitchforks fucking people's fires, because she went on record, interview, press conference, everything. If a person had COVID at the time of death, even regardless of that being the cause of death, it is labeled as a COVID death. You could be on hospice with less than 24 hours to live. Your heart could shut down. If you have COVID, it's a COVID death.
So you could be there for a heart failure or something, or
you could die of
an aneurysm,
a brain aneurysm.
But if you have COVID,
someone you trip and fall on a curb and crush your windpipe. If you have COVID at the time of death, it's a COVID death. That's where they're getting their numbers from, and that's the way they're going to do it. Yeah.
Those were her words, or
those were her words.
More or less.
Not verbatim.
I haven't seen that, but that
look it up.
Jeez.
It's legit. Yeah. And then the Australian government thing. Did you hear about that?
No.
They the people have been. I don't know how far it's gone yet. They have either started the process or they're almost nearing the end of the process to absolve their government.
I did hear that. Yeah, that's right. It's the people actually coming down and being like, it's basically a vote, if you want to call it, of no confidence in their government. That's basically what it boils down to. Yeah, it's basically what it boils down to. It's like their government is not performing the way they should, and the people would be like, you're fucking up.
Yep. So now they've either started the process or they're almost nearing the end of it.
Which is the way it should be.
That's the way. That's what the Declaration of Independence is.
The government works for the people. It's not the government saying this is what you need to do. It's the people saying, no, this is what you need to do for us. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
So good for them if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and
yeah,
honestly, I mean, listen, you got my props. Hell, start a GoFundMe. I'll try to kick some coin your way. But at this point, it's good to see. And that's the crazy thing. I've been thinking about this a lot because I talked to a couple. I've actually run into a few other people at work where I work that are kind of like head spinners where they're like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? Then they start chasing that rabbit down the hole.
That's a dangerous thing.
So it's nice. Well, it's nice because I can watch other people do it and see the fruits of their labor. Because I'm like, how about you give me the Cliff Notes version? I'm like, I'm not getting into that one. Or, ooh, I'm curious.
I got 8 hours to kill.
Yeah. I've only got 600 miles to drive. Let's kill some time. Yeah, they were, with all the conspiracies and shit that we've talked about, like, we touch base a lot more. We revisit COVID quite a bit, but even alongside all that, it's crazy to see, like in this instance with the COVID situation over in Australia with the government, as bad as it got, here we are talking, well, it's crazy. Everyone thinks this couldn't happen. It's happening there. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought, people nowadays, a lot of sheeple are at the point where you can't overthrow the government. Well, fucking guess what? You kind of can.
Right.
It's happening. It's not happening to us, but it's happening.
Just for the record, I don't like the word sheeple just because it's used so much by like the crazy conspiracy theorists and like Ted Nugent. It makes sense and it's right, but just because it has such a stigma behind it, it's like it's kind of like if you say like Alex Jones 9/11 was an inside job, people look at you right off the bat and be like, same thing. If like, oh, you sheeple, then there's going to be a group of people, especially from the left, but there's going to be a group of people like, here we go. See, but that's just it. I didn't hear this term, as ironic as it's going to be. I didn't hear this term until I finally watched the new Matrix movie, The Matrix Resurrections. Right. Oh, it's been around for a long time.
I'd never heard it until then. And then I'm like, well, I really like this word.
It makes sense.
In a kind of like
it makes sense. You got
jokey dig
one
kind
person
of sense.
Like just hurdling the cattle and be like, and like, ooh.
I mean, I don't mean it offensively. If
no,
takes
not
offense,
offensive. It has nothing to do with offense. It's just as soon as you say sheeple, people are gonna look at you and be like, here we go, tinfoil hat.
Oh no, well, I mean, let me ask you this.
That's why I try to stay away from it. Like I don't want to say that.
What terminology would you use then?
Sheeple. No, I don't know. Just fucking
the people who are less. I don't know. I guess the people who are more prone to follow than they are research or do their own thinking.
Pretty much, it's those group of people, which is a large majority of them, that just go on TikTok for their news.
Oh God.
Or Facebook for their news. They don't want to take the time to click one or two links later and read maybe 5 or 6 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Which takes literally and 3-4 minutes.
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. When I use the restroom, number 1, I'm in there for about a minute. Number 2, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Because I am
we all needed to know that.
Here's why. I'm a let nature take its course kind of guy. I push enough muscles day in, day out doing my job. I'm not gonna
listen. We got enough story from your kidney stone thing.
So what I'm saying is, while I'm relaxing, I'm sure any
feet up,
red-blooded human in this world can agree they do have 5 to 10 minutes to kill at least once a day, if not every other day. And I've come to take, and anytime I'm either down in the truck or I'm at home and I got 5, 10, 15 minutes by myself, I'll read a few articles. And if I'm like, wow, this is really steering towards one way, let me see if there's anything on the opposite spectrum. Oh, that's all the other way. So now I can make an educated decision, or educated.
I like it.
A somewhat more neutral look at something.
Right.
So it's like, but yeah.
They're
Australian government, Chicago, yeah, okay. That's some things I want to talk about.
Going along with all of that, there's a few videos making it around on social media, TikTok, of a compilation of how the left spun the vaccines when they first came out, and how there was some people from, I think ABC, it was a one news anchor, it's a woman, I think, short hair, or like a long pencil neck.
Not light skinned, not super light skinned. She's got like a tan or something.
She's a white woman.
Yeah, she's a white woman, but she's got
probably in her late 30s, early 40s, maybe mid 40s.
A little while. Okay, I think
she's talking about. There's a clip of her. It starts off with her talking about the vaccines. Like, if you get the vaccine, the virus gets in you and it stops. It can't affect you, so it can't go on to other people. And it's a compilation of videos like that of a lot of people spinning this vaccine and be like, this is the end all be all. Once you get the vaccine, you are done. The virus is done. This is how we get out of this. And those were the words.
New York governor, remind me.
All right, this is how we get out of this. So those were the words, and it's a whole bunch of like Fauci and a whole bunch of them saying stuff like this. And the title of the video is like, "This didn't hold up well."
Asian
and I'm
guy
watching
killed the president. Remind me.
All right, I'm watching all of these, and I'm like, wow, they really. How do you address that if you're one of the people, or at least one of the people that either said it, or one of the millions that subscribe to that one channel narrative? And now all this stuff you get reminded of is like, hey, remember the shit that you were talking about before? How do you explain now? Never mind that. Look,
penis,
Omicron.
penis.
Yeah, Omicron, dangerous cold.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I brought up the New York governor. She had a nice long speech today. Oh, not long.
Kathy Hochul.
Yeah, she had. The Kathy cult leader.
Yeah, it's the weirdest fucking.
She went on. She was talking about New York being the first state to declare the state of emergency when the Omicron variant came out. Blah blah blah.
12-inch snowstorm. Here we go.
She even said over in Africa, where it was based in a landlocked state where no one could get in or out. Mm-hmm. So apparently, this virus mutated the exact same way.
Jumped up in a cloud and came across with a storm system.
I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Rained
down. Don't know when I'll be back again. But yeah, she's sitting there pushing the narrative about. She goes, and the number is 28% for between 5 and 11 vaccinations. It's your job as a parent. It's your responsibility. It's your duty as a parent to get your child vaccinated. I don't know why my voice went there. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's right.
But yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then she actually, okay, whatever.
So what just happened?
The problem,
did I time travel?
No, I had a lag. You know when you were playing Call of Duty?
Oh,
that's what I just had.
You just walked up twice.
Yep, I walked up twice because I was gonna start going into about how there was the medical cases where children were, these younger kids that were getting the vaccinations, they were having problems. There's cases out there of children being sterilized by this shit. There's medical.
No, is what, pregnant women?
I don't know.
There's something to do.
No, there was younger people that they were noticing fertility issues with now.
Okay.
So I could do the research and find out specifically. I will get whatever.
I've heard something around those lines.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, okay, yeah. I had to remember my train of thought. So she's sitting there talking about how, the first vaccine, the first shot, then the second shot, that's not enough. That's what the boosters are going to be for. Mm-hmm. And it's like, then people are asking, well, she goes on to say, how soon can I get the booster? And then after I get the booster, after 2 to 3 days, you should be good to go into the world. No. That's...
Well, they say it's 2 weeks if you get a booster. They said until it's
two. She said something about 2 to 3 days.
No, I thought if you got the shot, you would still be able to be infected for 2 weeks or something like that before you'd be allowed to actually go unmasked or something to that effect.
No, she was talking about how as little as 2 to 3 days you could be out and about.
This is recent?
Just today. She made that comment. Yeah. And other side note really quick. So apparently they arrested some guy, an Asian fella. I don't remember his name.
I saw that.
Yes.
Trying making his way to the... And you know what's sick about this? I don't like this administration as much as the next person. Mostly people on the right. And like I've said before, I'm not a fucking Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. Just kind of, what does the country need? That's where I'll vote. But I saw that, and I don't know if it might have been YouTube. It was a news article talking about this happening, and the comments under it were fucking disgusting. And what gives right or independents that lean maybe right and are tethered to some things in the left, or conservatives or Republicans who are good people, it's what gives them a bad name. The comments under it were like, oh, that was a potential American hero, and it's the one thing that failed in 2021 that shouldn't have. Like, I'm reading all these things. I'm like, all right, listen. You don't have to like the administration, and you can think it's as evil as you want. But that is no better than what you're claiming that they're doing.
That is, in my opinion...
It's like, that's fucking wrong. The same thing from before. You say slavery, that's fucking wrong. That's fucking wrong.
So, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, strictly my opinion, to say something like that is almost treasonous, because it's like any job, any government, any social structure that you're in, a book club or the government or the military or any employment you may have, or like a hockey league, a baseball league, whatever you're in, there may be a director of whatever you're organized or you're involved with that you may not like. Mm-hmm. But I don't go in there working and saying, oh, I'm going to kill my boss, and everyone's like, great.
Nah.
Now, I don't walk into this country. I live in this country. I don't walk into something and say, oh, really, I'm not going to say those words because they don't feel right coming out of my mouth. This guy, the people were saying, like, this is the one thing that failed that shouldn't have. You know, you might not like the president, but, you know, and maybe this is the good nature and little there be, you know, you shouldn't wish death on anybody except for maps.
It was just... That's right.
Sorry, I didn't want to be offensive and call them pedos.
Nobody likes maps.
Nobody likes pedophiles either.
Unless they're rolled up. Anyway.
And smoked. Why do you think Dora the Explorer's eyes were always so bloodshot?
Oh, jeez.
she was smoking map every day.
Yeah, I did see that, though. I saw it yesterday or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was fun.
Actually
I read it today. I read about it today. I was like, that is intense.
One last thing before we get into the actual topic here is there was a documentary, I guess, that dropped. So the documentary drops Inconvenient Truths on the January 6th narrative, talking about the woman that got shot climbing through.
Oh yeah, the Supreme Court or whatever the what was that building? March on Capitol Hill.
Yep.
Yes.
Apparently there's I'm not going to go through and read the entire article, but it's on, I got it off the epochtimes.com. Documentary drops Inconvenient Truths, January 6th narrative. And it talks about how the media spun this woman as to be in this like alt-right conspiracy, like anarchist, whatever person, and they weren't. And they were interviewing a lot of people that, this is like a few months, or maybe a month or two after January 6th of last year. And how she had enlisted in the service at the age of 17 or 19.
Yeah, you can.
And it was 11 years she had in the service. And it's like she was very for the country. And a lot of interviews they were doing was the people that were marching were very patriotic. There was like no violence or anything like that. And yet they wanted to say, well, President Trump is inciting insurrection and this, you know, all these crazy things. Although there are... The reason why he's trying to block things from that the federal court can release or something like that is kind of sketchy. It's like, what are you trying to block? It's like, it's not making you look good here, especially for people that especially for people that already don't like you. So I saw that and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to, when this documentary comes out, if I can find it,
we'll have to watch it.
Take a look see at that. That's just basic news, like a quick recap or whatever that's gone on the last few days since the last time we had a show. But
yeah, because this is a very recent show. We just did one, Sunday?
5 days ago?
Yeah, not even.
It was Monday.
Yeah,
because you were exhausted. There's a difference between exhausted Charlie and not exhausted Charlie.
That halfway in the episode, I'm like...
No, the topic of this show, because I thought this would be a blast, and this is one I could do with, because there's so many fucking crazy things. This came about when, of course, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and they were talking about Alex Jones, and they were talking about a meme about Alex Jones. Yeah.
Pause for a second. I'll be right back at the user restroom.
Oh, he's going, well...
Alex Jones.
And we're back.
And I did that on purpose. Like, oh, God. Had to give the look that you were talking about.
So, yeah, this stemmed from a meme, which I don't normally do, but I'll put it up there. I found it funny, but it's there's a, just so you know, there's a meme that says things Alex, or something about like things Alex Jones was talking about, or you are here.
Mm-hmm. I think I've seen some memes.
And it's a list of different things he's proclaimed over the year, or let me see, there it is. And I'm looking at it, and it's the list of everything he's said over the years, and a check mark next to it, and then it says "You are here." And with the check marks, it's, you know, obviously things he's made claims, and maybe or maybe not.
Oh yeah, please.
So
you got to put that up there.
I was like, okay, yeah. I'm like, all right, this is interesting. Let's see. So he's made a bunch of crazy claims and whatnot, and I'm like, well, let's see, like, if these things he's claimed have actually come to be. So the first one, and I have things from that list, and I also have other things. I was just looking for any crazy thing he's claimed. So the first one, probably the biggest one that everyone knows him for now, is his Sandy Hook claim that Sandy Hook was staged. In 2012, he made this claim. Mm-hmm. Which that one, there was no evidence, and he later retracted a lot of his statements. He's like, I had a bit of psychosis. You got this problem with conspiracy theories, which has been said over and over and over. Is like, once you get into conspiracy theories, then you start fucking thinking everything is an inside job and everything's fake and everything was staged, or this is what they're hiding. That's the dangerous thing with conspiracy theories, and that's why I try really hard not to just jump on a bandwagon. So he retracted that on episode 1255 of Joe Rogan too, and that's the famous episode where he goes, Joe, I'm a little retarded. And he says that, and I'm like, well, that's going to be clipped. And sure enough, it was. There's memes everywhere. That I'm like,
oh yeah.
But yeah, he later went back and was like, no, that's not actually a thing. So that was one that obviously was false. Another one, he says, the TV is listening to you. What do you think?
Oh, it's legit. There was with the whole camera on TVs, it was there was actually I remember reading an article about a woman who actually used it, the forward-facing camera on her television, to record her boyfriend, almost ex-boyfriend, assaulting her. Mm-hmm. So she, you know, I don't remember the specifications of it, but like inadmissible might have come up in there because technically you can't use. I don't know what the deal was, but there was some teeter-tottering of what actually might happen because of the way the proof was obtained. But
if it wasn't her house, I don't think she could.
Well, so it's already been proven that they can go in, and if you allow, they say if you allow access to your camera, your microphone, your photos, your video recordings for like certain apps and certain programs, they can go in remotely and turn them on and see what's going on, even if you think your phone is off. Like
that was Snowden. Snowden said that, but that's your phone.
But that's just it. TVs are. Dude, we have smart TVs. They're computers. You can surf the web on these things. No, they are no different except for size and video quality, depending. And not even then. Image quality now, they have monitors that look better than TVs and TVs that look better than some monitors. Excuse me. But the programming's all the same. The minute you connect it to the Wi-Fi, you're done.
It ended up being true. There's an article in PCMag.com says how to stop smart TVs from snooping on you.
Yep.
And this, say going down a few paragraphs, the FBI noted that TV manufacturers and app developers have the ability to listen to and watch you, but a potentially more serious threat comes from the bad actors who gain access to your unsecured television and takes control by changing channels, adjusting volume levels, and even showing inappropriate content to children. At worst, they might turn your TV's camera and microphone and spy on you. So he was right. I don't know the year that it might have been like 2000. I don't know. It was early mid 2010 in the.
I was going to say it's when I remember that one because I remember we talked about this a little ways back, way
we
before
were talking about the
way even before podcast.
Oh, maybe yeah.
Just random, just general conspiracy talk for random shit.
Right.
I remember that one coming up, and it was during the early development. No, it was after smart TVs had come out.
Right.
But it's when they started pushing the threshold.
That was like 2012-ish when they started really gaining ground.
Yeah,
that's
like
when a lot
could,
of people I knew was like started, I got a smart TV. And like right around 10, 12, 13, somewhere around there. The next one is 9/11 being an inside job or a false flag operation. Your thoughts?
I see both sides of it. Honestly, up until today, I've yet to ever make a true decision as to how I feel. Because I remember watching a documentary on Netflix, 9/11 and Change or something like that.
Loose Change.
Loose Change, yes. Like, till today, I mean, I haven't researched in a little while.
No, neither have I.
But up until recently, I want to say within the last few years, some of those people, like, you're hard-pressed to find that documentary, A. Mm-hmm. B, some of those people that interviewed on that documentary are still a no-show. And it's evidence is there to see, like, I mean, I don't know. I still don't know. Let me get your opinion. What do you think? Like, let me ask you this. Before you answer that, do you feel one way or the other, or are you on a middle ground like I am? Let me ask you that question first.
There's a lot of discrepancies. And one specifically that I listed here that doesn't make any sense. And there's things that happen that I made note again that would have to make that would make anybody who use critical thinking to leave the door open and be like, I can't just say no, it wasn't. It was definitely this job done by terrorists against our economy. And I mean, if any terrorist is going to do that, the World Trade Center, where we're doing a bunch of global trading,
perfect place.
Financial, yeah. Why? I mean, it was bombed in '94.
Attempted
bombing in '94. So, of course, it could happen. I was talking about things that have happened before, being like the Gulf of Tonkin or false flag operations. The Gulf of Tonkin's a big one, which we've talked about before. Being it was the claim that
for those of you at home who don't know what he's talking about, he's about to explain.
The claim that one of our, I don't know if it was a carrier or it was just a battleship, was torpedoed. That got us into Vietnam? I think it got us into Nam. That's what everyone was talking about. We shouldn't have been there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Operation Mockingbird, which was in 1963. We had journalists and the CIA that were affecting global media and the narrative that was put across globally to make us seem like the good guy, 100% the good guy against USSR.
The Cold War, yeah.
Yeah, during that was the beginning of the Cold War,
yep.
Or right around the beginning of the Cold War. And Operation Northwoods, which was the CIA again, attacking, dressed as communist Cuba, attacking American civilians and military, trying to push us into a war against Cuba, which would have been a war against Russia, because Russia was aiding Cuba, giving them like all these weapons and everything, and that was I think another attempt to get us in an actual war with Cuba. So there has been things, and these are all proven things. So all things are right out there. Our government has done things like this before, which have been fucking screwy to get us into wars or attempted to get us into wars. So just me being, well, no, that won't happen. That can't happen. I was talking about discrepancies too. The biggest one, and one's talked about a lot through, especially conspiracy theorists, is the BBC report on Building 7 that aired almost a half hour before it actually fallen. Their report is like 4:13 or quarter after 4 p.m. They had reported it in London that Building 7 was on fire and it is falling or had fallen already. And then almost a half hour later, it was still standing at that time. And almost a half hour later, then it actually fell. And that was a huge one for a lot of people. Like, how the fuck do these people report that Building 7 is down when it's still standing.
I genuinely don't remember. I don't think I've ever known about that.
That I've heard that a lot, but I didn't know like the times and everything. I thought it was like 5 minutes before, but it was almost half. It was like 20-something minutes before. So whether it was 5 minutes or an hour, just the fact that we're reporting, so this is building 7's down.
Well,
and I guess apparently I haven't seen the video, but apparently I've heard that the BBC reporter that's actually reporting it, you can see part of building 7 in the background still standing. Which, if that's the case, you're like, the cameraman should be like, maybe just a little bit.
I'm gonna have to look into that one. There is one thing,
but there's no evidence, concrete evidence that says this was an inside job. There's discrepancies, and like I said, things in the past that have done and be like, but there's nothing that says this was an inside job.
Well, there's always been one video, and I know it's still out there. I know, like, if I wanted to search it right now, I could find it. There is one video that, and this is what puts me in that middle ground. Like, do I hope that this was a terrorist organized attack? Yes. Because do I want to know that my government is capable of killing thousands of people mercilessly, then putting all the first responders that lost their lives along with it, to send people to know, all right, this is what I'm saying, to know that someone or our government is capable of saying green to go, boom, the trade center go down. Now, to make sure we push this narrative, green light the responders. We're going to hope this is going to take more numbers down, and it's going to rally our troops. Right there is a mind fuck to know that
what do they call it? The innocent bystanders get knocked.
Casualty of war? I don't know.
No, there's a term for it. Whatever.
To know that our government is capable of green lighting, the massive scale attack like that was, and then to mercilessly send people in after knowing we're gonna lose more. I mean, I can't, like, from a war standpoint, I mean, yeah, a war standpoint, when you're in the thick of war, like, flood the barrel, because eventually it's going to jam up. But that's in the thick of it, and you still should be like, I really don't want to do this, but it's the only way we're going to win. You know, but to sit there and know that our government might have been capable of. Okay.
And I know a lot of people will say, let's go out on a limb. I know a lot of people will say that if that was the case, it's like, well, it's for oil. But if they were going to do that, I don't think it was for oil, because we've talked about it before. This whole like censorship and like tightening of the grip really started right after 9/11 with the TSA and all this.
Real quick, the video I was talking about, I didn't describe. I rant and I didn't describe it. There's a video, and like I said, you can still find it till today, and this is what gets my head kind of going, wait a second. The one tower, both the towers were still up. I'm picturing the video in my head because I can remember it so vividly when I stop and see it. The first plane...
See, if we had those Google glasses.
Yeah, I know.
We could just project.
The first plane hits, and then when the second plane comes in, and it's literally like seconds before the plane hits, you see windows blowing out.
Really? I didn't see
Literally,
that one.
not even seconds, milliseconds. You see the plane, boom, the plane hits. Because people are like, oh, well, it's just poor.
Is it significantly, like a significant distance underneath?
You know what? You go ahead and start talking about what you know.
Well, that's that.
Moving forward.
All right.
I'm going to look this video up really quick while we're talking. I will comment and chime in as we go along.
Well, all right. The next one is Hillary Clinton's sex ring, her child's sex ring. In other words, Pizzagate. The claim made in 2016.
Mm-hmm. And the hot dogs. The hot dog party. Or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so your thought.
Do I... okay. I'll search that in a minute. Do I think... okay. I think there much like any organized criminal organization. Yeah. Much like any established criminal organization.
There you go.
Unfortunately, and it's sad that we live in a time when this is possible, I think there is a market for everything. And it's so like you don't get to be a Fortune 500 without stepping on a few toes. You don't get up there, and you have to make sure that those toes you stepped on are buried so deep that people dig a few layers down and go, oh, we found something interesting, and then disregard because they don't think anything else is possible. Mm-hmm. Like Weinstein, all the sexual allegations against him. Bill Epstein.
Not Weinstein.
Epstein, Cosby, all these celebrity deaths, all these...
Epstein's a big one.
All of these...
There's so many ties to Epstein.
Well, no, Weinstein was the one that was sexually assaulting actors, females. Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, all right.
Kevin, he's the one that had like...
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something
He
about
had
that.
like so many sexual allegations.
I'm thinking like
against
Eric
him.
Weinstein. Like
What?
Sign.
But Epstein, it's Harvey Weinstein or something
Right.
like that. Epstein is the one with the child island or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 8mm. Remember that movie with Nicolas Cage?
No.
Watch it. Prime example of the depth of the underground, the dark underground world there is.
For sure.
8mm is a movie where Nicolas Cage is hired by a woman to find out if a video of an 8mm film, for those of you, because we're old enough to remember this.
I think they still teach that kind of stuff in film school.
Yep, in film school. There's these reels of film. They were called 8mm. It was literally like the strip of film you pull out of the old style cameras, except it was on a big wheel. Mm-hmm. She finds this in her husband's like secret spot, watches it. Oh my God! It's a girl, young girl,
I think I did.
Underage girl being sexually assaulted and then murdered.
Right.
With the butler, I guess, or the servant for the house, like he knew about it, and he ends up like getting involved and like trying to kill Nicolas Cage because he dives into this underground world of sex trafficking with minors. And it's sad because at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the guy tells Nicolas Cage, you know why he did it? Because he could. That's why.
That's really
and it's
I hear a lot of people say that about like Epstein and Maxwell, which was found guilty. You saw that.
Yep.
Which that's interesting too. That actually, I think I have that right in some. Yeah, the next one actually. A lot of people say it's like, well, the reason they can do it is just because they can. They have tons of money, tons of influence, tons of power over people, and yeah, that's like enough reason, I guess, if you have the ability to do it. Like a lot of people say Bill Gates, and he was in with Epstein, and it's got this nerdy guy who gets no attention except for the billions that he has, and now he goes to the place, and Epstein's like, hey, take your pick of whoever you want.
She's 12, he's 13, and...
Well, they weren't all, to be fair, they weren't all underage. There were some underage, which... But yeah, so that's...
Big sweat off my mind.
Yeah, that's a reason given. I put, although many sex rings have been exposed, there's no significant evidence saying that Hillary Clinton was involved or ran a child sex trafficking ring or anything like that. There is an article, though, here that is interesting. On KTLA 5 in LA, there's an article here that was brought up just talking about...
KTLA is in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
There's an article brought up about a sex ring that was busted, 474 people arrested, 28 sexually exploited children rescued during statewide human trafficking operation in L.A. This was, what year was this thing? 17? 2000, yep, February 1st, 2017. So thinking that, there's no, like, the whole Pizzagate thing and whatever, that's like, well, that's not going to happen. Like, that right there is sexually exploited children in a ring where almost 500 people were arrested. Like, they're around. They happen.
So
all the time.
When did you learn how to masturbate?
Let's see. It's a brothel. I remember old. Oh no, that's when no, I don't know.
So, I mean, is it considered pedophile if you learn to touch yourself before you're 16 and you do it?
I don't know.
Because you're learning a mature act.
Depends if
and
you
performing it on an immature person.
And it depends if you're a Zimzair and have multiple personality. Anyway,
we joke, people. That's terrible.
Yeah, joke.
Actually, speaking of which, here's a little fun thing for you. Immoral.
No concrete evidence.
Yeah, no concrete evidence. Immoral sin and all, premarital sex is a sin. I got into a discussion with a coworker the other day, and I go, so, is premarital sex a sin? Because this person was talking about how they would like to try to be abstinent until they're married, even though they've already been in this relationship with this other person for a few years.
It's like when I tried ganja for 3.5 years. I'm just trying.
So they go, well, I don't know. It depends on what, in what context are you referring? And I'm like, well, how about this? Let's talk about the Bible, because this person is semi-religious, well, pretty religious. I go, you ever heard of the story of Mary Magdalene? Oh, yeah, well, I've heard that. And in that person's voice, I was able to tell, like, okay, you're a conspiracy theorist kind of nut person, but here you are, like, the person didn't really, I may have picked up on something that wasn't there. Because it was the end of our day. We're all driving back to where we work, and it's like we're tired. We're people driving around us are pissing us off. Like, we're just kind of like, everything we say almost has an edge to it. So I don't know if maybe I heard something that wasn't there. It was just my mindset, or it was just the way this person felt after like a 10-hour day of driving, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, like the Bible doesn't mention it, because this person mentioned about how they discovered a Turkish Bible that was discovered that had been written like 300 years after Jesus. And there's like, they won't release it to the Vatican because the Vatican is like trying hard to get it legally. Like, they're going through courts and everything, I guess, the way this person was explaining to me. But there's,
I wonder if that was like Dead Sea Scrolls kind of thing.
There's
anyway.
Testament of it actually not being Jesus on the crucifix. Because the Bible does tell about how Judas takes his own life. There's text about how, it wasn't a true crucifixion because it wasn't Jesus. At the point that Jesus was crucified, he had been beaten up, and with the thorns on his head, like his face, like he was barely identifiable. So they think the Testament directs you towards Judas being the one taking the crucifixion, and Jesus.
Oh, plot twist.
Actually, and I made a joke, and they go, well, because there was, apparently the Testament describes the resurrection site.
Right.
Jesus was put into the cave, the stone. 3 days later, they open it up, and here's this man walking out. But in this Testament, it describes the true resurrection, and how it almost looks like a person had starved them, like, had put themselves into like a quarantine for a few days. Like, how does this place look lived in? How does this place look like things had been moved around? Like, they put, like, even in the Bible, it talks about them putting things in the cave with Jesus to part with him. And like, so here I am thinking to myself, this son of a bitch pulled the greatest trick of all time. He snuck in while no one was looking, with a backpack full of snacks and Capri Sun, shit in a bucket in the corner, and then when everything was, pushed everything aside, I have risen.
Nutri-Grain bars. It's organic.
But, yeah, so like I go, so the whole story about Mary Magdalene, et cetera, they had a child, blah, 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 blah. I truly believe, I'm sorry. You want to talk about parent of the year? I mean, for God's sakes, He killed his own kid for us.
That's true.
I mean, Case and Anthony up there, that's his wife. They're up there like, hey, kids. Casey Anthony. Oh, no, but yeah, it made me laugh, the premarital sex. And I'm like, it's not a sin. It's really not.
That doesn't have anything to do with child sex trafficking.
Yeah. Well, no, I made the joke. The reason we kind of swerved into that, is because you were talking about child sex trafficking. I was making a joke about, if you learn how to masturbate before you're 16, technically you're performing an adult act on a minor.
That's true.
Does that count? And then that led to premarital sex sin.
This is Demi Lovato.
It's funny how sex and sin are both 3-letter words. Because it's sexy to sin. Is it a sin to be sexy? Because you're sinning right now.
Never mind, I've already said it many times.
At least this time I didn't look at your dick. I mean, for once, all jokes aside, I always look at your phone. Everyone's on camera was like, oh, Charles, look at his dick again. No, folks. There we go. I'm looking at his phone. It's right there.
That is it. Please let me know if that's a talking point. But well, there he goes, looking at his dick again.
I guarantee you, someone's like, we're gonna have a drinking game tonight. We're gonna watch the Tiki-Q podcast, and every time Charlie looks at James's dick, you gotta take a shot.
Never mind. He's the gayest member of the show.
I am not the gayest member of the show. I like vagina.
Elite cable of sex trafficking, which goes in with the next one. He made these claims in 2016 and 2020. Specifically, Epstein Island, which we made mention of.
Yep.
The Maxwell trial.
Now, what was that?
Ghislaine Maxwell, the girlfriend, I said wife before, but girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah,
The one that was, now convicted of soliciting women, minors, I guess, too, and conditioning them for Epstein. Which came out a few days ago or a week ago, the trial records have been sealed.
Yep.
So any names or any acquaintances, they're not releasing them. Why?
It's all blacklisted.
Yeah, why?
Two things, really quick.
Rhetorical question.
Two things, real quick. One, remind me to talk about the Michael Jackson documentary. Two, this is kind of a side note, but because I was talking about work, I got thinking about it just now. You hear about that trucker out in Colorado, 110 years?
No.
All right, there was a truck driver that killed 4 people, maybe a little bit more, injured people. I don't know. The death toll was up there.
Right.
Lost control of his truck, careening down a Colorado Rocky Hill, blah, 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 blah. Passed by a couple of emergency off-ramps to save runaway trucks. He was convicted, all accounts, given 110 years.
Hey.
Now, here's the thing, real quick. I know this is off topic, but as a commercial driver myself, I wholeheartedly agree with the guy being held responsible because he is at fault. People are saying a lot of and this is the crazy part, a lot of truck drivers are supporting him. It's kind of divided. There are truck drivers that support and truck drivers that are like, hey, he's guilty.
Yeah, but that's the narrative of the nation right now.
Exactly. So here's the thing, and nobody can dispute this. Any fans, any watchers, viewers, whatever, nobody can argue who is a commercial driver or knows somebody who's a commercial driver. Ask this person. Ask these guys. There is a daily check you have to do before every vehicle, before every transport. Now, I get it. Over-the-road drivers in particular, and a lot of other companies that pay by the mile, you're not making money if you're not moving. But guess what? Do you make $100 less that week or $1,000 less that week, or you kill 4 people and go away for 110 years? And the reason I bring this up is because they just reduced the sentence to 10 years.
Jeez. We'll knock 100 years off.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I feel the guy is guilty? 100%. Do I feel there are a lot of contributing factors and other people should be held responsible? Yes. I do feel that there are some other parties involved that should be held responsible, like the mechanic, whoever works on the vehicles. If this vehicle was made note that there are problems, the guy should not have been driving it. Simple as that. Now, does it fall on them for not fixing it, or does it fall on him for not reporting it? It falls on him primarily for not reporting it, but if there were pre-existing conditions that were made aware of, then there's some responsibility on those who work on it. I feel like the guy should have gotten 25 to life, honestly. That's my opinion.
Well, he had 110.
Yeah. But and here's the crazy part, and this is where I was tying it in. The guy got 110 years. for vehicular manslaughter, murder, whatever, on so many accounts. Do you know what the going rate is for jail time for a 25-year-old female raping a 13-year-old boy, or a 25-year-old male raping a 13-year-old girl?
It's only like a year or 3 years or something.
It's like 3 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You go to jail.
It's not significant.
You go to jail for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, depending on the maliciousness of the act. Because I hate to say this, but, you know, not every rape victim shows up with bruises or cuts or strangulation marks.
Yeah, it's not glorified.
You know, it's, you know, so like on the lower end of that spectrum, you know, a guy grabs a girl, holds her down, or a girl grabs a guy and holds her down and has their way with them. And, you know, a rape kit's done.
Girl grabs a guy and holds her down.
Holds him down, whatever. You know, it's like,
not a dig on weak and feeble men, but
you did something bad, here's 3 years. Or you beat that woman beat that 13-year-old boy to a point to near death, then raped him. Or that guy beat that girl to damn near death, then raped her, and they get 7 years. You can get 25 to life for losing. You can get years. You can get the same amount of jail time for losing control of your vehicle because you weren't responsible enough or cautious enough and accidentally killing somebody, as you can raping a child or sexually assaulting a minor.
Right.
This is where the fucking world
she
is
got.
fucked up.
She ended up getting. Maxwell ended up getting, I think, 75 years. Pretty sure that's what it was. 75 years. Yeah. So his claim was made about the elite sex trafficking in 2016, and I think again in 2020, like I said. I said the Maxwell trial records were sealed.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, well, was there an elite trafficking sex thing? Clearly there was, because Epstein is the biggest example of that. Well, then I was like, well, just Epstein, and you're not going to get names, especially now with the Maxwell trial being sealed, so you're not going to see, like, but there's a lot of people say, you know, how many people were involved with Epstein? Bill Clinton, what they say, rode on Air Force One, I think, with him 26 times or something like that.
Yep.
Bill Gates being involved with him. Donald Trump being involved with them, said he was great friends with him for like 15 years. Like, the reach goes all over the board through, and it's not like Democrats.
And it's not even just Americans. There's foreign,
I'm sure there is
important names that are involved with Epstein.
I pulled up some that I found that maybe not had anything to do with Epstein, but just like big power names involved with some kind of minor sex or sexual assault. California mayor arrested for sexual assault. That was sexual assault on a minor. That was from Fox News. So I know a lot of left-leaning people would be like, Fox, that's all right. And I was like, all right, well, they're still going to report a mayor, you know.
Yeah.
Dennis Hassert on Politico.com. He has sexual abuse suit against a minor. He was, let's see, Dennis paid $1.7 million over 4 years, but stopped payments after the FBI questioned him in 2014. The payment over the 4 years was hush money, apparently. Said a man accused him of child sexual abuse reached a tentative out-of-court settlement Wednesday over Hassert's refusal to pay the man $1.8 million, the outstanding balance in hush money that the Illinois Republican agreed to pay the man in 2010. It would have focused on a novel legal issue, verbal agreement to pay $3.5 million to buy the silence of a man he abused as a teenager amounted to a legally binding contract.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was one.
Can you imagine how bad that must be? How bad you got, like, how low do you hang your head walking into court because you're being sued, not you, this person is being sued for the remainder of a balance given to this person, promised to this person because of sexually assaulting them. I mean,
and the name they gave the person that was assaulted was James Doe. I was reading like, why is it my name?
Because nobody likes a Charlie in the box. Oh.
Another one is a big one that came out in the last few weeks was Chris Cuomo, CNN producer, accused of luring a mom and Vermont ski, a 9-year-old daughter to his Vermont ski home to train, quote unquote, the minor to be sexually submissive, telling them a woman is a woman regardless of her age.
Yeah, I had the Chris Cuomo thing because, you know, it's funny. When that came out, everything about Andrew Cuomo stopped. I thought that was the funniest thing. I'm like, oh my God, that's what it took to shut this guy up?
Well,
Because even after even during the sexual...
It's funny that the nursing home thing with COVID came out, and then all of a sudden the sexual assault came out after that to hush that. And then when the sexual assault came out, suddenly the CNN Chris Cuomo thing comes out to hush that. It's like, what's the next thing that's going to come out to hush this?
Yeah, I know. This keeps getting worse and worse.
Barney Frank, who was a House representative from 1981 to 2013, his house was used as a brothel for male prostitutes. And I guess he had hired a male prostitute for something or other, too. He claims he didn't know it was being used as a brothel. And I guess they did a 10-month operation to find out whether or not he was lying, and there was no evidence that came up. But, all right, listen. If your house, for almost a year, or however long, that was a 10-month investigation, but however long, your house is being used as a place for males to go to sex up prostitutes, male or female, wouldn't you have some kind of idea that something's going on at my house?
I mean, yeah, there's
gotta be
even if you don't know the specifics of it, if there's some shady shit going on behind your doors.
Somebody's going to call you. It's like, man, you have a lot of people going in and out of your house like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah, I have a charity event going on.
Yeah. We're going all night.
Everybody's giving free BJs. What's that? BJ's membership cards, folks. Well, isn't that the one with, wasn't he the one tied with Obama? There's someone who was tied with Obama in a male prostitution ring.
That might have been claims. It because, like, yeah, he was in there until 2013. So that might have been the one. It's either him or...
Well, did you ever hear about the article about the code, the code words? Like, in the elite and the political side of it, there was like this text that came out about a code. Like, you would hear Obama say, yeah, I want whatever, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's use her. Yeah, I want to order 100 hot dogs for a party I'm having at my house.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I know you made mention of that a little earlier.
And then there's, like, if you actually take the context out and put the words in, because it was all coming out, a lot of this was coming out.
Was this the same thing they were talking about walnuts?
Pizza, ice cream.
Or something? Or they're talking about, oh, these are good walnuts, and that was, or almonds, or something like that, and that was code for brown-skinned people?
Yes.
All right, I did hear something about that.
And it's like,
and that's fucking real life. That's not conspiracy. I heard that, like, oh.
And the best part is, like, if you take all the narrative out, because I'd read the article, read the comments, like the quote, the quoted statement from the person, and then when they plug out all the words and plug them in with, like, boys, girls, it's like, oh my God, I just read a fucking sex dialogue. It fits perfectly. And because there's people like, well, how do you know it's that? It could be this, it could be that. And then there are people that were posting memes like, yeah, race cars and basketballs don't make sense, or basketball and football don't make sense. Like, yeah, I want to order 100 basketballs to have a party at my house, and football's better. It's like, nope, doesn't work.
Yeah, because it was like we're spending like $26,000 on hot dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something to do with them.
Yes.
I did hear something. They're like, who the fuck is like, oh, these are exquisite, high delicacy hot dogs. I'm like, oh, I bet. Who pays $2,000 for a hot dog? 26. It was like $20,000 or $30,000 of hot dogs. Quotes. And another one is
wieners is what it's supposed to be.
John Podesta's emails. I think, or to John Podesta, is Tamara Lozado emails to John Podesta. This one's interesting. I have the email, and this is another one.
Emailed it to you?
Yep. This is another one that if you its emails talking about underage people at a brothel. They're talking about. Well, here I'll just read it.
Go ahead.
Enormous gratitude. This is, Tamara wrote, with enormous gratitude to advanced man extraordinaire Haber, I am popping up again to share our excitement about the reprise of our gang's visit to the farm in Lovettsville. And I thought I'd share a couple more notes. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be the Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Lozado. And then in parentheses, 11, 9, and almost 7 age. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. And with the forecast showing prospects of some sun and cooler temperature, lower 60s, I suggest you bring sweaters to whatever attire you'll enable us to use outdoor, And they're just talking about weather. Yeah. And it's just, I'm invite impending wishes you could come, yeah.
I mean, you do have the butt of an 8-year-old boy. He probably was inviting you to go.
Probably. But there's that's not a whole bunch. There's like 4 or 5 different examples of elites, people in political power, or somewhere in political power, that are part of underage sex, either trafficking or just going to brothels. Yeah.
Involvement in one way, shape, or form.
Again, that was one of the things that's checked off on that list when we started this, is the elite cable of sex trafficking. These are all things that have been convicted, are proven, well, it's there. So, and I guess he made these claims way back in the early 2000s, and throughout the last 20 years since then, all this stuff has come out more and more. Anthony Weiner is another one. Remember? I know. It's like his name is Anthony Weiner, and he's a part of this, I think it was underage. He was sending nude pictures or some shit back in 2010 or 12 or 11. And he had to step down from Anthony Weiner. You can't fucking write about
I would love to see the president, any political person's face if Chris Hansen, Chris Hansen. Hey, how you doing? Have a seat over here. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Please tell me this is The Price is Right.
That's that. The next one, 2010, he made this claim. This is going to be fun. Turning the frogs gay.
Oh, God. Yeah, I read that one when you showed me the meme.
Yeah. Turn the frickin' frogs gay. There's one of those people that takes clips like that and make a whole song out of it. That's the first time I heard it. This is fantastic. And it's one of those things that before I actually started listening and researching some things that Alex Jones talks about, and be like, all right, let's see how crazy it is. And a lot of stuff, be like, well, I heard that years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I'm like, all you get out of context is Alex Jones ranting and raving, go, they're turning the freaking frogs gay.
Well,
you're like, what?
Was it really Alex Jones or was it Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Because if you remember in Jurassic Park,
well, that was hermaphrodite frogs. So that's the thing, is this is a loose one. Are they turning frogs gay? No. So, on the surface, turning frogs gay? No, that's not what it is.
Well, let me ask you this: animals are the best example we can use of basic instinct. Humans, honestly, we're a parasite on this planet. That's all we are. We are a virus, basically. When you stop and think about it. We multiply, we mutate.
We're an invasive species.
Yeah, invasive species. There you go. Perfect example. But when you stop and look at what humans are capable of, and then look at the animal world, prime example with the sex trafficking we were just using. Do you think the lion cares that the lioness just became a full-grown lioness and may only be a year old, or goes to the 10-year-old lioness and says, make a baby? No, they just reproduce. Now, I'm not saying that's okay. Sex trafficking, sex with minors is
We're
not okay.
We're talking about gay frogs. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying is, homosexuality, I don't think you could turn things gay. I think that basic animal instinct, you've seen dogs try to hump, boy dogs try to hump other boy dogs. You've seen girl dogs, go and heat around other female dogs. I don't think you can really turn an animal gay. I genuinely think much like homosexuality in humans, it could just be wiring.
Here's the thing. Do they turn frogs gay?
Let me ask you this. If you, this will be the catch-all, this will be the proof that I need. If this is true, because that's such a general, broad statement, and I'll explain why because you have that look like you're an idiot.
No, I'm just waiting for you to, so I can get out.
Sorry. If this is legit, they're turning the frogs gay. I want to see. This is gonna be so hot. A male frog hump a female frog, then turn the frog gay, and then put the choice between them, and that male frog go to the other male frog. That's the only way I'll genuinely believe that claim. I'm sorry. That's the only way I can believe it.
All right.
I don't want to watch frog porn.
Through livescience.com. The claim was, or Alex Jones's claim was, they're turning the frogs gay. No, they're not turning the frogs gay. What he was ranting about in that whole thing prior to his rant about turning frogs gay was pesticides. Different hormones and pesticides run off into swamps, streams, and whatnot. The article here is a commonly used pesticide known as atrazine can turn male frogs into female frogs that are successfully able to reproduce, a new study finds. While previous work has shown atrazine can cause sexual abnormalities in frogs, such as hermaphroditism, having both male and female organs, this study is the first to find that atrazine's effects are long-lasting and can influence reproduction in amphibians. The results suggest that atrazine, which is a weed killer, used primarily on corn crops, could have potentially harmful effects on populations of amphibians, animals that already experience a global decline. Said atrazine interferes with the reproduction of the sex hormone estrogen, present in people and frogs. Findings could have implications for humans as well. If you have problems with amphibians, all right. So just go as.
So it's not actually turning them.
It's
gay.
not turning them gay.
It's changing.
It's changing their gender.
So, okay. So then, yeah. I mean,
that's what I mean. When he gets on rants,
he says something.
He just goes off the fucking wall, and then things like that come out, and then someone sees it, goes turning frogs gay, clip it, meme it. That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
But I had to go back and like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because he just hears rant. You're like, it's just a bunch of nonsensical. Like, hold on. But you go back and what he's talking about is actual. Well, that's where it stemmed from. Is the study that this could actually affect humans too, with these pesticides.
So he caused the whole gender identification disorder.
Well, pesticides on corn. Stop fucking eating corn. So that could actually change.
I mean, you notice humans don't digest it, do you?
That's right. We're built to not digest. So that's where that came from, is pesticides changing genetics of amphibians.
If that's the case, I'm going to eat a fuckload more corn because I want to be a girl. I want to play with my boobs and put things where they don't belong. Oh, wait, I already do that now. Oh, sure. Shit.
The next one was, he made this claim again back in like 98, 99. The Bohemian Grove and elite cultists.
That one I'm a little confused about. Explain, please. Because when I hear Bohemian, I hate to say this, Rhapsody. Queen. Yeah, my mind goes there.
Bohemian Grove is this like large, like 2,700 acre estate in Northern California, where the claim was made by him that a bunch of elitists in the world go to worship an owl god and burn effigies of females or children and spend like a weekend or whatever. And apparently there's a list, a 33-year wait list to get to this place. And obviously you have to be like the elite of the elite to get there. There's like a few thousand members in it. That was a claim he made. And for a long time it was like, all right. Well, there's videos since then of people sneaking in, but he snuck in and took a video of what they were doing there and show the owl god, this like 20 or 25 foot statue of an owl. And there's a bunch of redwood trees all over, 200-foot redwood trees. And they're burning this thing that looks like a person, a bunch of effigy, a bunch of sticks. And they're chanting and shit like that in robes. It's the weirdest fucking...
Can you see? I'm going to have to watch this video. Can you see faces?
No, because he's probably about 100 yards away or so. But if you just had that, and you'd be like, well, that could have been anything. It could have been anyone. Here's the kicker. There's been presidents who've talked about being there. Nixon is a big one, and Nixon's on record to talk about that's the faggiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's I had to go and look. I was like, yeah, they're talking about Bohemian Grove, and like the homosexuality stuff that goes up there with elites and all these. It's a weird shit, but every July, some of the richest and most powerful men in the world gather at a 2,700-acre campground in Monte Rio, California. For 2 weeks, heavy drinking, super secret talks, druid worship. The group insists they are simply revering the redwoods and other rituals. Their purpose to escape the frontier culture or uncivilized interests of common men. Your leaders.
Could you imagine Bill Clinton?
If,
I did
if
not
there,
have sex with that owl.
I want to say Bill Clinton has been there before. There's been a whole fucking bunch of, like, political leaders, obviously, business tycoons. Again, the fucking elite.
Pew pew. Anybody who watches Paradise PD knows what I'm talking about. Pew pew. Slick Willie.
The elite of the elite. I mean, like I said, there's a 33-year wait list to get there.
We don't even have that big of a wait list to go out into space.
Seriously. I got a video link here. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, I want to see that.
There's a video link of Nixon talking about it.
I want to see the video of Nixon talking about it.
It's only like a 30-some second video.
I want to see the video of the people worshiping the owl.
I'll find that. You can go right on YouTube and find it. It's easy as fuck to find it.
Alex Jones Owl Sanctuary Worship.
I'm sure something will come up.
I'm sure that'll come up now. Fuck yeah. Research that, people.
The next one. 2013, he made the claim, weather control.
All right, hold on a second.
Silver iodide.
Hold on a second. Go
ahead.
A second. I hate to jump in on this one, but weather control has been a study of research. God, dude, since we were kids, they were talking about trying to figure out how to influence the weather so that we would have more rain in drier areas and we could return some natural wildlife, you know, be it vegetation or animal, to areas that used to be but aren't. Because, you know, like, it goes back to like the Platonic plates, etc., back in the prehistoric days when like some of the deserts were some of the most vegetative places in the world. And now they're like barren deserts. Do I believe that's a conspiracy theory? No. I believe that, honestly, since we figured out how to put science into the clouds, we've been working on trying to figure out. Because, I mean, like, they talked about
like I said, like science is an object you store on top of the fridge. We put this thing in the cloud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we put man on the moon. We put people at the bottom of the ocean. We put science in the clouds is what I'm saying, basically. It's like we're trying to figure out, because like how many times Hurricane Katrina, Irene, what was the Kuwait, or no, what was the place? The country, or it was in America. No, what was it?
I don't know.
There was the bad flood, like fucking the monsoon, or
right. They there's
no, like I was saying, but Katrina, Haiti, that was the one. The Haiti fund, remember?
Wasn't that an earthquake?
Whatever it was. There was severe weather. Like, we've been trying to figure out how to prevent some of these natural catastrophes from happening. And I hope I don't want that to be a conspiracy theory. I want us to be able to control the weather. I mean, it'll really suck because, of course, much like splitting the atom, when they first developed the atomic bomb, they weren't trying to create a bomb. They were trying to harness energy. And they figured out a very good way to do it. Very effective way to harness energy.
Well, there is cloud seeding.
Yeah.
Using silver iodide. Carbon dioxide, dry ice, and silver iodide have been the most effective when used in supercooled clouds composed of water droplets at temperatures below freezing. They form nuclei around the water drops and evaporate. The resulting water vapor deposits into ice crystals, which build quickly as water droplets attach themselves. You're talking about when we were kids. When he made this claim, a lot of people are like, they're not controlling the weather. They can't control the weather. Since the late 1990s, silver iodide is routinely used to seed winter supercooled clouds over the mountains in the western United States in order to increase snowpack. The problem, or what he's talking about, is what's to stop them from weaponizing this.
That's where I was going. Much like
Right.
when they split the atom, he was trying to form a new energy source, and they weaponized it. And that's the problem. I agree with you.
That's what he was talking about. And a lot of people are like, they're not controlling the weather. Well, they are controlling the weather.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for, what, almost 30 years now, or 25 anyway. So that is the thing. Where does it go from there, though? I mean,
Exactly.
with any science, is good comes out of it, and an equal bad can also come out of it. So
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%.
the next one, I don't know what year he made this claim, but the rich using baby blood.
And oh yeah, we talked about this on a previous podcast. Adrenochrome,
Yeah,
et cetera,
adrenochrome.
the Fountain of Youth, the one Baroness or Bloody Mary, whatever.
Yep.
You know, bathing in the blood of virgins to stay youthful. I mean, is that why Betty White died? She didn't have any more baby blood to bathe in?
Now,
Sorry, Betty. I miss you already. Too soon.
your initial response is like the fucking elite are bathing in baby blood. Like, the fuck are you talking about? MIT Technology Review. This is out of MIT. Questionable young blood transfusions offered to U.S. as anti-aging remedy. Monterey, California is a private clinic where people can pay $8,000 to have their veins pumped with blood plasma from teenagers and young adults. Jesse Carmazine, if I'm butchering that name, whatever, is the entrepreneur who made the practice
podcast. Way to go, bud.
made the practice possible by launching a clinical trial on the potential of young blood through his startup, Ambrosia. He says that within a month, most participants see improvements from the one-time infusion of a 2-liter bag full of plasma, which is blood from the blood cells, with the blood cells removed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I found that, and I'm like, I can't just go by one source. So I was like, let me see if I can find any other credible source. I found one from Pop Science, popsci.com. Has the fountain of youth been in our blood all along? Studies published over the last 15 years found that young blood can reinvigorate aging mice. Now scientists are trying to crack the code or codes swimming through our veins. Tiny tower of Legos turning away, then comes back to snuff.
So,
citizen, rodent terms.
bathing in the baby blood, I mean...
It's not bathing in baby blood. It's just injecting.
Well, here's the thing.
Blood.
As much of a joke as that headline sounds like,
Initially, is like using youth blood to elongate their life, and that's like a sci-fi thing.
well, here's the thing, though. Like, how did we learn about electricity? Someone got struck by lightning.
Well, that's
Figuratively speaking.
goes, yeah.
Figuratively speaking. So, conspiracy theory now-wise, did somebody rub baby blood on a cut and it healed faster? And they go, whoa, there might be science to this.
Maybe.
Because the study of human blood and rejuvenation has been going on for a while. It's nothing new. Like, blood transfusions, they've learned, and this is where I'm coming from. This is where I'm going with from this. This is where I'm coming from with this line of ranting. When you give an elderly person a blood transfusion, especially younger blood, it's been researched, they do feel more rejuvenated. But then again, who wouldn't feel more rejuvenated after getting some blood back in their system?
Right.
Everyone's going to feel better.
Right.
But then
especially
science,
if it's like oxygenated, it's better oxygenated.
but besides that, tissue regenerative abilities, stem cell research. Mm-hmm. We can repair, or like the liver regenerating. It's not the only. It's the only organ that can regenerate itself. Like, the science has been there to rejuvenate or prolong life, but with the now diving into it to the point of like, you're basically straight up injecting yourself with baby blood up your pee hole. What if that was the only way you could live forever? You had to get a 1 inch.
Well, you've already been there, so.
I'm going extreme. What if you had to get a 1.5 inch diameter tube shoved up your pee hole and someone put blood up in there?
No.
Yeah, I don't want to live forever
I
either.
think so.
I want to live to see 100, though.
They did experiments on mice, and they said the secret's somewhere within those tiny veins. In a series of studies over the last 15 years, Villida and others in a few like-minded labs at places like Stanford and Harvard have shown that when infused with blood from young mice, old ones heal faster, move quicker, think better, remember more.
Mm-hmm.
The experiments reverse almost every indicator of aging the teams have probed so far. It fixes signs of heart failure, improves bone healing, regrows pancreatic cells, speeds spinal cord repair. It sounds sensational, almost like pseudoscience, says Villida. It's some of the most provocative aging research in decades. So there's another one. Baby blood. Baby albums, bro. Baby blood is not a fake thing. It's not a conspiracy.
Sly tie.
That was that for the list I have there. The last one on the list of that meme was interdimensional elves.
Space elves. Yeah, interdimensional elves.
Which we've talked about that before. DMT.
DMT, yeah.
People like ayahuasca,
I was going to say DDT
like,
for some reason.
Yeah,
DDP, Diamond Dallas Page.
Two different things. Yeah, so that's like different people tripping different places and different times, seeing the same thing. Like that's a whole thing. What's it doing? Are we actually opening a gate to see the next place where our mind transcends
to?
Yeah, transcends to. Like
I was gonna say transpire. I don't know why, but
okay. Or is that something that allows us to see something that's not there? Who the hell knows? I don't know. But that's the next thing on that list that's not checked. It's like that's where the meme says you are here. So,
but now what happens if we do find out this interdimensional space or interdimensional elves? Next, there's going to be an elite cult that worships them and has sex trafficking.
There probably already is. Bohemian Grove, maybe. I don't know.
DMT. We're all tripping on DMT. I got one. He's in the real world now.
He's getting away. It's like Freddy Krueger.
I'm young. Wait, what the fuck?
That's weird.
Interdimensional.
We only see in 3 dimensions.
Interdimensional sex trafficking.
Interdimensional underage sex trafficking.
Oh my god. Oh. Aliens finally come. We're from another dimension. You're kind of cute. Wait, what?
Aliens do come all over our youth.
What if we're the minors to the aliens and they're coming to us sexually assault us?
Oh, where's that Me Too movement?
I know. Hashtag Me Too.
I want. We only see in 3 dimensions, so the fact
I don't want to get raped in the 4th,
5th dimension. Well, they identified a 4th and 5th dimension. So the fact that there might be some there, the space between spaces, as it's called, the fact that maybe there's something else there. To think that we're the only
Ant-Man had it right all along.
The only living creature in the universe.
No, I don't believe that in the least.
I find it hard to believe.
No. I'm sorry.
You want to say the universe is infinite, which Hank Green, scientist, and I've watched him on YouTube for years now on SciShow. He says if the universe was truly infinite with an infinite amount of stars, that means every point in the sky would be illuminated with light because it takes light time to travel.
Yeah.
But if it was infinite, all that light would already have traveled to us. So there would be no spot in the sky that would be illuminated with stars.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not true. They know there was a point of origin, a point of here. This is where it starts. So, which has nothing to do with talking about other aliens and whatnot, or what have you, interdimensional beings. But the fact that if anyone thinks that we're the only things in the known universe or even unknown universe.
Let's go Prometheus on this. I have a hard... All right, you want to go creationism? Fine. We're not perfect. Humans, as a species, we create something, find a flaw with it, and create another version of it. Mm-hmm. You want to go creationism? God, be my guest.
Yeah,
Guess what?
Look at Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. Sega?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're not perfect. So you mean to tell me we're the only model? I mean, we're definitely better than most. So there's got to be previous editions. There's got to be next-gen editions. You want to talk about evolutionary standpoint. Much like the fucking coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever, the Omicron variant.
And it mutates backwards?
There's no way we can be the only mutation in this universe, regardless. Whoop, I gotta cut it. On that note, adios, people.
Well, all right. So, in closing thoughts, there's no way that. Oh, I was going to say Dr. Michio Kaku. Dr. Michio Kaku said it best. That we might be the one civilization that's in between Type 0 and Type 1. Being Type 0, what we're doing now, living on the Earth and completely at the mercy of the Earth and all its resources. And a Type 1 being in control of everything. And the transition between the two might be that fact where we could either destroy ourselves, nuclear weapons, and everything else you see in the news, or we thrive and work together, which is a stretch right now, and actually advance and become a civilization that can go to other planets and colonize and coexist. What happens? I don't know. But that's...
I had to go see my interdimensional elf.
I was just talking about us, Dr. Michio Kaku talking about we could be a civilization between Type 0 and Type 1, being able to actually go to other planets and colonize. And we're at that point, being the only, you're talking about being the only civilization in the known universe. And he states like, well, maybe there was other civilizations in other parts of the universe, but when they were at that that point where we are now, going from a Type 0 to a Type 1, Type 0 being a civilization that lives on the Earth and is at the complete mercy of everything, elements and natural resources, and if all that depleted, we'd be gone. Or moving to a Type 1 civilization where we'd be in control of all that and able to go to other planets and colonize.
Yeah.
But that's a transition period that could destroy themselves off. So maybe there were other civilizations that got to the same point we are at millions of years ago and just killed themselves off.
Yeah.
Which we could be at right now with nuclear weapons, like I said, or the divide with everybody. Like, can we coexist and work? If we could transition into another thing and maybe eventually get to a Type 2 society like Star Trek, where we can just colonize everywhere.
Yep.
Yet to be seen.
That's Star Wars.
That's where we're at. All right.
Wait, you are my father?